Blackgirlcinema. I am your resident black girl here, Odie. Now today we're going to talk about independent films, something I love so much and I cherish with all my heart. So in particular, we're going to talk about the 2008 film by Barry Jenkins, Medicine for Melancholy, and the 2015 film by Sean Baker, Tangerine. Now, I love indie films so much. I love them for their feel. I love them for so many different things. Number one, I love the music. Music in independent films is so much different than music in the big box office hits. It's more intentional. It's more meaningful. You can have two characters just sitting there. And the music that's playing is all the dialogue that you need. You get from that song that's playing between them, you get the passion, you get the understanding, you know what's going on just by listening to the song. And that's not something that really happens with major films. And I love that really a lot. Also, I love that there's a deeper message in indie films. You're telling a story with indie films. You're not just, oh, let's make a comedy. You're always going to get a deeper, meaningful message through an indie film. And I love that. I think that's so cool. I love that indie films are not made with the box office in mind. A lot of times filmmakers, they get together and they're like, all right, what's going to sell films? Let's make a Denzel Washington film. If they see Denzel, they're going to come and see it. I know I'm guilty. Whenever I see a Denzel Washington film, I'm like, well, I'm going to go see it. I don't care what it's about because Denzel Washington is in it. And I don't think indie filmmakers don't do that. They make these films because they have a genuine passion and a love for the story and they want to tell this story, so they make the film. And that's so much different, and it's so much to love about indie films. And then last but not least, I love the feeling that you get from indie films. Indie films make you want to go out and be an activist. They make you passionate about music or passionate about love. They make you want to be romantic and fall in love. All these different things. I love that about indie films. Now let's begin with the older of the two films, which is the 2008 film Medicine for Melancholy by Barry Jenkins. So this film, I saw it first in 2010. I was still in college and I saw a screenshot for it, and somebody wrote like a really nice paragraph like, oh, you know, they like this movie or it made them feel romantic, blah blah blah. And I was like, wait a minute, I need to see this film because this looked good and it looked passionate, and that's the stuff that I'm all about. Hold on now. So I looked everywhere for it. I got on YouTube and I saw the trailer and I became obsessed. I was like, no, I have to find this film. Maybe like 2 months later, I finally found the DVD on Amazon and I bought it. And the day it came in the mail, I watched it. I watched it again and I watched it again. And of course, it became one of my favorite romantic films. So this film stars Wyatt Cenac. You may recognize him as a comedian. He's on The Daily Show. And he plays the character Micah. And we also have the very beautiful Tracy Higgins, and she plays Joanne. So although these characters, they interact with some other people throughout the film, this is basically your whole cast. You have these two and that's it. They don't really meet any other characters. You don't really get acquainted with anyone else. It's just those two. So the focus of the movie is on their relationship and their characteristics as black people. The film goes through thoughts about like race and gentrification and class structure, and most of all, what love is supposed to look like. Black love, black romance. It talks about all of that. So backed by an incredible soundtrack. I love the soundtrack of this film. So many independent songs as well that you wouldn't know about unless you probably watched the film or you know those artists already. I love the film for that, and I just love the way this film makes me feel. It challenges the views of romance and what a romance film should be. It challenges the view of what everything should be in its traditional sense. And that is something that makes this independent film so strong. It challenges the views about traditional everything, especially traditional romance. Now, one of my favorite films is Love Jones. It's my favorite romantic film of all time. And people always say, why is that your favorite film when the male character was screwed up in the head and he was a cheater and he was a deceiver and he was a liar and all of this? But really, I like it because it's real. And it's just like Medicine for Melancholy in that sense. Romance and romance films shouldn't always be well, you know, boy meets girl, maybe something happens, but in the end they end up together. It doesn't always work like that. That's not real life. Sometimes the most romantic relationships and situations that people will ever encounter are not with the person that they're going to spend the rest of their life with. And that's just real. And I appreciate Medicine for Melancholy for being that way. Some people had a gripe. I don't want to spoil the movie for you, but some people had a gripe about how this movie ends. But honestly, it's true. It's real. And that's what I love so much about this film. Now, let's talk about Tangerine, the 2015 film, Sean Baker. So I'm going to be completely honest with you all. When I first watched this movie, the first 30 minutes, I debated with myself 4 times whether or not I'm really going to review this film, because I didn't like it and I wasn't feeling it. But I kept on coaching myself, like, come on, you got to do this. You already told the people you're going to do this. Don't let down the fans of Blackgirlcinema. You have to do this. So I kept coaching myself, and then finally I watched the whole film. When it got down to like the last 10 minutes, that's when I started to realize, you know, I started to round things up and I started to see what could be going through each of the characters' minds. And then slowly it began to make sense to me. So let's talk about the plot here. We have 2 transgender prostitutes, one of whom just got out of jail, and that is the character Cindy. Now Cindy finds out from her best friend Alexandra that her boyfriend Chester has been cheating on her. So she is looking for Chester. She is looking for the chick he's been cheating with. You meet all these transgender prostitutes. You meet all these people in the city, in the town. And you meet a cab driver who's kind of living a double life. And he also knows all of the characters here. Meanwhile, we still have Alexandra, who is the other main character of this film. And she has this longing passion to become a singer, and she's finally getting her big break, and she's inviting everybody in the city to her show that's going to happen that night to hear her sing. So this film is less of a serious one, and it's kind of packaged as a comedy. A lot of people say this is going to be their new favorite Christmas comedy, since it actually takes place during Christmas time. It's just packaged differently because of the subject matter. So this is what I mean that where I say indie films are so much stronger than box office films, because a box office comedy follows the same format. This comedy is completely unlike any other box office comedy. That's what makes it better. Indie films are not about following the format. They're about making their own format and having this story being told at the same time. So I'm going to talk about some things that I found amazing in this film. Number 1, the cinematography of this film is amazing, and the reason why it's amazing is because it was shot with an iPhone or an iPod. Not sure which one, because the interviews are kind of, one says one says the other, but it wasn't shot with a regular camera. And the way that some of these scenes look, to me it's mind-blowing. So to me, the cinematography is the number 1 thing I enjoyed the most about this film. And then secondly, you don't have your typical characters. We don't have the same cookie cut characters that you see in every different kind of movie, just with different hair or a different structure. You have completely untypical characters. You have transgender prostitutes, you have cab drivers, you have all these people in the city, and it's completely different than any other film that you've ever seen. You get exposed to a whole new culture that a lot of people don't even know exists. And then next, this ties into the focus of the film not being your typical storyline. And it's completely unpredictable, because there are times that I'm like, what? I did not see us going there. I didn't see us going there in this film. And that is something that I love so much about this film. So all in all, these 2 films are very different, yet they give me the same kind of feeling, and they give me the same kind of understanding when it comes to indie films. So Medicine for Melancholy, the underlying message of this film is basically the need or the longing for something to ease the pain of what they're going through. Both of the characters are longing for something. They're missing something, and they get that medicine for their melancholy. And in Tangerine, we have the underlying tone of the characters also looking for something. We have Cindy, who is looking for that genuine love and respect from Chester, her boyfriend. And she's looking for that throughout the film. So she's making sure, you know, she handles all of her business so that she can have that true love that she's always wanted. We have Alexandra, who loves to sing, and she's been inviting everybody around town, even people that she didn't like, to come and see her sing. She has that passion. She's longing for that. That's something that's important to her. So just like Medicine for Melancholy, we have characters who are different, who are strange, and they're longing for something. And this is something that I just love so much about indie films. They can be weird, they can be strange, they can be different, but in the same breath, they can be similar and recognizable. The film Medicine for Melancholy, I have to give it a grade of an A, and I'll have to give Tangerine a grade of a B+, only because I have no idea why it's called Tangerine. The only tangerine thing that you see throughout the film is a tangerine air freshener, and that is pretty much at the end. So I don't know where Tangerine came from. Medicine for Melancholy, it made sense to me, but Tangerine, Sean, we gotta talk about that. What does Tangerine have to do with anything? So thank you all so much for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe and share this video. Comment, please comment. I need your comments, guys. So make sure you tune in next time. We're going to have the review of the classic film Friday starring Ice Cube. And I will see you all next time.